Do you want a way to track your tech and your gear in your home studio? Or maybe you are planning your dream studio and you want to keep track of everything. Well, you are in luck, because today I'm going to talk about how you can track your home studio setup in Notion. And even if you say, yeah, I'm not a Notion user, this might be an excuse to give it a try. It's free to set up a Notion account, and today I have a template to get you started even faster. So I'm going to show you how to fill that out and how you can really customize it. For example, you could filter and say, okay, what would be the cost if I just buy these things? Or what would be the cost of my Dream Studio version A versus version B? Where do you keep track of your information, your manuals, your tutorials? You can do all of that, keeping everything in one place, but you have that benefit of being able to customize it. And I'm going to walk you through and show you some examples and maybe give you some ideas of what you can do in today's video. And if you are new and you don't know who I am, my name is Kat, and I help people to create more professional and engaging online presentations. And when it comes to this, I know that once you start doing virtual presentations, you start to ask, what camera should I have? What microphone should I have? How should I set up my lighting? And so all of those things, you can put them in one place and do your research and have everything together. So let's take a look. I have already duplicated the studio setup. So I have it here. Now you'll see something behind. This is actually, I've got some tabs open and are ready to go so we can start to add some information in this template. So this is actually a duplicate. I call this the demo, but yours looks pretty much the same. And I have some instructions here. I know my face is obscuring part of it. That's okay. You can always read it if you download it. If you want to create your own, let's say you already have a Notion account. Really, you're just starting a board view. And right now I have my board view divided into the different categories. And you can change these categories. Maybe you don't want to track your software. That's okay. Maybe you want to have cameras under your hardware. It does not matter. You can customize this however you like. But let's start adding some information in here, and then I can show you how you can customize and manipulate this. So let's go over to my Chrome tab here. So I have this Sony ZV-E10, which, let's say this is on my wish list. Maybe right now I am using a webcam or my built-in camera, but I'd like to take my image to the next level. I'm looking at this camera. What I could do, if I just want some information, I'm just gathering some details, I'm going to grab the link to this camera. I'm going to copy that, and I'm going to take a look at the price. And I'm going to look at the price with the kit lens. So, and remember, I'm in Canada, so everything's more expensive here. So we're going to take that. We know that it's basically $1,000, and we're going to go over here and say under cameras, we'll just click new, and I'll say Sony. And this is the ZV-E10. And then I'm going to click on it to open it up, and let's actually do some extra stuff. So here you can see brand. There are a bunch in here in your template already. I know this is a Sony. Maybe this is on my wish list. I haven't bought it yet. Priority wise, let's say it's pretty high, but maybe not the highest priority. I'm going to paste my link. Now this could be the link to the original page. This could be a link to the store that you plan on buying it. Maybe you want to have extra links. You can either add more categories, or you could add some extra links down here in the body. You can really do whatever you want. So for price, we're going to say $9.99. Now the price category right now, it's got a $sign. If you are living in another country where that is not applicable, you can actually click on price. You can say format number, and then you can actually change it. So maybe it's the euro. You can easily change it that way. So there is an option. Click on the name price, format number, and then you can change it. For me, I'm going to say Canadian dollar, although it's got the little CA beside it. I don't actually need that. Anyhow, customize that however you like. And then maybe I want to make a note and say, look up other lenses. Maybe I want to do some research on what my other options are because it's interchangeable. And then you'll see this one here. This is actually a relationship in Notion, meaning it's connected. You can grab other things in a database. This is actually related to itself, meaning when I have something else in here, right now there's only one thing in this database, but if I click here, I'll be able to add other things as they are set up. And right now, it says there's something in the body, but I don't actually have anything in the body right now. But let's say I want to. Let's say I want to do some research. I go over here and I actually have my help guide. And maybe I want to embed this help guide into the page. So I'm going to copy this link, and down here, I'm pressing / and then I'm starting to write the word embed. And I'm going to choose to embed this link here because I want to actually keep this in a page where I can easily access it. I don't have to look it up every single time. So now you can see, and let's open this. So if you want to expand the view of a page inside a database in Notion, you can actually click open this page. And here I can start to play around with the size. So I'm gonna drag this way, maybe a little bit longer. And then you can just kind of tap off to keep it that size. And now I can actually go and use this help guide. I can actually interact. It's embedded now in this database. So that's a really nice tool here. Or maybe I want to have tutorials. So let's add a little / and I want to have a heading, and I'll say tutorials on the Sony ZV-E10, and I could actually embed a YouTube video. So if I actually start typing video, I could add the link to a YouTube video. I don't have one ready right now, but this is an example of how you can actually collect all of your research in one place. Maybe you want to have reviews on that certain thing. You can absolutely do that. So this is a little sneak peek of how you can set up your camera, and we will actually fill this out soon. So now let's go back a page. So we've got a camera, but you know what? I like having the pictures. So I want to add a picture. So let's go. I actually set this up so the cover is going to be the picture that shows. So we want to add a cover. It's going to just give you some built-in art. So let's toggle over to Chrome again. And I actually have the Google Images open, and I already searched for the camera. So maybe I want this image. If I click on it just to get a look at what the image looks like when it's a little bigger, I can right click. So you can see I right click here and I go to copy image address. So I've copied the image address. Now I'm going to go back over to this page, change the cover, click on this word link here, and I just paste this link and submit it. And now you are going to see the camera. Now it's a little bit tight here. However, when I step back, now I can actually see the image of the camera. So this is how you can actually create, I like having the imagery personally. So now let's take a look. Maybe we want to add a computer, and I have, what did I open here? Let's take a look. I thought maybe you want the new M1 iMac because it already has a display. It's got the more powerful processor. And I'm looking at this one in the middle here because it has more ports than the first one. I take a look at the price. So I say to myself, okay, this is the one that I want. I'm going to grab the link, go back here, and I'm going to say it's the 24-inch iMac. And maybe I'll just make a note here that it is the new M1. And again, we're just going to add this here. Now the price, you know what? I can't remember exactly. So I'm just going to put in a price here. And it is Apple. So you get the idea. Maybe this is also on my wish list, but perhaps this is a higher priority because I want a strong computer that can handle my presentations. And yeah, we're going to stop there. Let's add the image. And I won't get obsessed with the images. So I actually just right clicked on the image here directly, and I have copy image address. And then we're going to go back here and change the cover, do a link. By the way, I'm not going to do an entire studio build, but I do want to know enough. Or do enough so that you can see this. So here we have a couple of the elements of the studio. And let's add, I think I have for an accessory, maybe we want to have a mount. And I'm going to look at the master mount from Elgato. So let's tab over and take a look. I think I have it open here. So there's the master mount. Perhaps I want to put this on my desk. So you can either have one sitting on the desk or on the edge of your desk. This could hold up your camera. This could also hold up your lights. So let's just grab that link here. And we're going to open this card here. This is Elgato. This one, because it's on my wish list, it's with the camera. So I'm going to say it's 3, and here's the link. And what is the price? Let's take a look at the price, depending on which one you want. Here we go. So maybe I want the large, and that is $79.99. Whoop. I'm going to open that up. Okay. And this one I'm going to use with my camera. So I can actually just click here. I can see everything that's already in my list and say, I'm going to use that with my camera. So there I have some information already, and we're going to leave off the picture for now. But essentially I'm starting to create this list here, and let's add something else for hardware, well, or accessories. Depends. So where would you put the Stream Deck? I'm going to add the Stream Deck here. Would you put that as hardware or accessories? I think maybe I put it under accessories, but let's put it here. So we're going to say Stream Deck, and maybe we're going to look at the 15 key because we're just getting started out. I am a fan of the XL and I really like it, but I know that not everyone needs that. So let's hop over here. I believe I have it open. I do. So we've got a Stream Deck here. So let's actually click on this picture. Let's copy this image address because we love the images. We're going to add our cover. And then did anyone notice the price? I think it said it was $180. Let's just estimate. So, and this is Canadian dollars, everyone, in case you are worried. And grab the link. This is a really ugly link, but who cares? All right, let's add that here. And maybe this is priority-wise a little bit lower. First, we want to make sure that we have all that. And let's get our sound. So I'm going to add this into hardware for the microphone, but maybe we want a microphone that is affordable but good. I've looked up the Wave. Now this is the Wave 1. So this is an example. There's also the Wave 3. I'm not going to get bent out of shape over this whole exercise. We just want to start setting this up so we can do some pricing and organize some things. So this is Elgato. This one is high priority. I want to make sure that I sound good. You all know my struggles with sounds. Yeah, we're going to clean those up at some point. I think this set it's around 150. I'm not going to worry too much. And yeah, so we've got that. And let's add status. It's still on my wish list. So everything here right now I'm putting on my wish list because I'm kind of putting together my dream studio. I also want to have a great quality picture for my camera. So I am going to get, I guess this might be it's an adapter, I guess, but it's also an accessory. So I'm going to move this over here, but we can put this here, capture card. So I want to buy a capture card, and let's just put in a number. I'm not going to go into detail because I don't want to take too much extra time, but let's say I'm going to buy a capture card and it's going to be around $150. So I know I'm going to use the capture card with my camera. And I won't worry about all this other stuff. We're just going to do some pricing. But if I realize, no, it's not really an adapter, it's more of an accessory, I can just move that over. And then when you open it up, you'll see that it's changed. Now it's an accessory, not an adapter. And the other thing I want to, let's add some lighting, LED panel, and let's say we're looking at the Elgato Keylight Air or something like that. This is really, really rough. I think I actually did open one here. No, I lost it. I have no idea how much this costs, but let's just say it's $200. Whoops. There we go. Okay. So what we've done is we've started to kind of price these out. Most of these are on my wish list, but if you have stuff here, you could obviously have that, maybe you bought it and you haven't set it up yet. Maybe it is in use, maybe it's not in use, but essentially I'm just trying to build something quickly. And maybe this actually would go on the master mount as well. So maybe you need 2 master mounts for your setup. And okay, so we've got some stuff in here. I am going to add a cable. So for the camera, I'm going to scroll over sideways. So I want to make sure that I can have my camera plug into my computer. So I'm going to have a micro HDMI. No, that's not right. Micro HDMI to HDMI. So that's a cable I'm going to get. I think these, I can probably get one for $15. And this is going to be used with my camera and my capture card. So now you can see that I'm kind of having this planned out and make sure that everything is together. I'm not too worried right now about the brand. I'll do a little bit more research. The priority will be the same as the camera, because when I get the camera, I want to make sure I have the card and the cable. The other one I need to have is making sure I can charge it. So maybe you consider a dummy battery. Right now, I have my camera plugged in with, so the ZVE10 is a USB-C. Yeah, it's a USB-C cable that I'm going to plug into the wall. And here I'm going to open this up and say I am using this with my camera. And let's say $15 again. So what's happening is I've got the prices, but what if we want to actually see the prices on this page? You are going to click on these three dots on the side here. I can see it's a little cut off, and you want to scroll down to properties. And when you scroll down to properties, you can actually change a few things here. So for example, if you want the preview, that little photo that is showing, to not be the cover, maybe you want it to be something else. It could be content if you put a picture of it in the actual page, or you could turn it off. If I turned it off, there would be no photos. I like the visual, so I'm going to put it back to cover. If you had a property in there that was an image file, then you could select that as well. And I have this toggled to fit image so that if the image maybe is a little bit taller, it will fit in here. At first, when I built this, it actually was turned off and everything was kind of squished. So turn on fit image. So let's actually take a look when we do that. So you see how it's cropped in a little bit more. So visually, if you say fit image, it will look a little nicer. And then you also can toggle, maybe you have your status of what is on the wish list or what is not. Perhaps you have the type on, no, you wouldn't want the type, that's a duplicate, but maybe you want the price. You can have the price here, and maybe you actually don't need the link showing. You just want to see the price of it. And let's actually turn on the status. We could turn on the priority. So you can actually start to build this by toggling these on and off. So this is a really great option for starting to customize what you see. So that is one way to optimize. The other thing you can do, see how there's a little number here at the top? You can change these numbers. And so if you click on it, it's going to give you all the different options for what you see beside this category. So maybe I want to see the sum of all the prices. So any number property is going to show up here. And because I have price as a number property, I can actually sum those. So if I do this, now you can see the amount for each of your areas. So here, hardware we have is the most expensive. So it's really faint. I don't know if everyone can see it, but let's go up a little. I'm going to make this page a little bigger, scroll in, and we can kind of scroll over a little. So now you can see that we've got the total of these two things together. We have the total of the camera, the lighting, the accessories. So we can start to see all of that come together. The other thing you could do is you could start to filter this. So maybe you want to have a filter. Let's add a view I'll just show you first how you add a filter. So we could add a filter if you wanted to be looking at certain things, let's say by priority or maybe by status. So if you wanted to add a filter here where the priority is 4 stars, I only want to see 4 stars. So right now, this is your highest priority, and you can see the total cost of your highest priority stuff. And so that's an example of how you can easily start to sort it and just focus on the most important things. Or maybe you have this where it's your status. And in this case, everything's on the wish list. But if you did have a wish list versus an in use, you could toggle between these and just show me my wish list. Well, I guess something disappeared. So you can start to do it that way, because maybe you don't need to see the pricing of the stuff you already purchased. That would be the total of your studio, but maybe you want to plan out how you're going to spend your money, so you can do that. So that's one option. You can add a filter up here. If you want to take it off, you can actually just remove this filter by going on filter. Maybe you want to sort. So let's add a sort where we want to see everything where the priority, we've got ascending. Let's see. I think we don't want ascending. We want it the other way. Yes. I actually want it by descending, meaning higher priority goes at the top versus lower priority goes down. And here's an example. Capture card. It's on my wish list, but maybe because I know I can plug the camera in directly into my device, I don't have to do that. I think it would be USB, but anyway, I won't get hung up on that. So I could say, actually, this is a lower priority, but I want to keep tabs on it. So you could do that. And now all of a sudden you can actually properly give it that priority. And so if I was just looking and wanted to filter my 3 stars, I could total those. So you can actually start to look at, okay, what's my total dream studio? Okay, what's my next step? What's my next step? And you can kind of phase that out. And yeah, I see you guys says, I don't want to know the total damage of my studio. Yeah, I understand. So this is one way to start to customize just this list. The other thing you can do, however, is add views. So maybe you want to see your information in a different way. Let's add a view where it is a table view. So I just want to see everything in a list format with all of the details. So I'm going to create this table view. And so now you can just see a list. I'm blocking it somewhat, so let's drag that over a little bit. So here you can see the status, you can see the brand, some of them are empty. I've got the type, and maybe I want to sort this, and I would personally sort this by, I'm probably going to do by category or type. Yeah, so I've got hardware, cameras, accessories, etc. So I can have that here. I can have the link where I can click on it and go to that link really quickly. Maybe I want to move these around. You can just take this column and you can drag it over here. Maybe I want to tighten this up a little. You can just drag and drop these. And here, where's the price? So, let's move this over, clean this up a little. Price, maybe we want price a little bit closer. And if you hover over the bottom of your table, you'll see calculate. So let's click on this and maybe we want to total. This is the entire thing, but perhaps we just want the stuff on the wish list, which right now, technically everything's on the wish list, but I actually didn't label everything. So if we did, we could filter this and maybe we actually want to name this. We can, so this is the view. And I click on these little dots here and I can rename this table. So I'll say wish list. And this, I'm going to add a filter where the status is wish list. So now what I can do here is I'm only seeing stuff on my wish list and I'm only seeing the total of my wish list, which is still pretty expensive. And you could do another one. So maybe I want to say, call this my next investment. So this is a new view and I want this to be, we'll just pick a simple table view again. We'll create this one. I'm going to say a filter where the status is wish list and where the priority, because remember we prioritize this, is 4 stars. And now we can go down here, click on calculate and say the sum. So this is narrowing it down so you could see it and you could add another table that says kind of future investment or a second round investment. You can call it whatever you want, but you can see that this is a really simple way to start to organize your information. And so I'm just gonna take a quick look if there are any questions. And so I see this question, how can I get some gradient templates? I would love if you could tell me a little bit more about what you mean by gradients templates, because I'm not 100% sure what the question is. And okay, what else? How good is Notion at saving your work if your browser crashes? So I'm actually using the application. So this is, I downloaded Notion to my desktop and also to my laptop and to my mobile device. So I do almost all of my work in here, but I'm pretty sure it uses autosave. That is why I highly recommend paying the Personal Pro. So I think it's around $48 a year. So it's a pretty good price for the full year. Might change after your first year. But one of the things that does, it is allows you, if you click here, I can see my page history. So I could go back if something went wrong. Like if we go here and say, what was it at 10:45? You can see that it's pretty empty. I could restore an old version. When you pay for the Personal Pro, you have that version history, and you can also invite more guests into your space. So I think that that is a really nice option. So one of the other things I want to make sure that I show you is if you do have lots of pictures, another view that's really nice is the gallery view. And so the gallery view is like cards. And right now it looks very empty. So a couple of things. When you click on properties on the right here, you can change what the card preview is. So you could have it as the cover. So if you do add photos, they'll start to show up here. And so it's nice to add photos to everything if you can. Also, you could, if you go back to properties, you could say none and just kind of have them as cards, but maybe I want to see the brand and I want to see the priority, the status, and the type. You can start to build it out this way. You can move these things around. Maybe you want the type to be the very first thing that you see. Maybe you want to see it under brand, or maybe you actually don't care about seeing the priority right away. You can toggle those things on and off. And again, you can sort these. So if we want to go to sort, we can say, I'd like this to be sorted by type, so I can see my hardware first, etc. So you can start to see the different ways that you can look at your list, the ways that you can filter it, etc. The other thing you could do, as an example, if you want to customize this, is add your own properties. Ooh, that's so ugly. Let's go to a clean one. So here we've got this clean page. I'm going to add a few things. So let's say that I want to maybe just add a little checkbox called Dream Studio. So perhaps I have some stuff that I don't love. It's not part of my Dream Studio. And I would like to easily see what are all the things in my Dream Studio. And then I could kind of check those off. And we could actually make that show up here as an example. So perhaps I want to show Dream Studio, and I'll say this camera is part of my Dream Studio, this microphone is, the Stream Deck is, the Keylight Air, but for now, you know, so you can kind of check those off, and then you could easily sort and filter, and maybe you just have a filter that says, is this part of my Dream Studio? It's checked off, and so that's an option that you have. If we go back to maybe my wish list or the type list, we could say we want to filter this and we want to say Dream Studio is checked off. Then you could actually just see what's the cost of my Dream Studio. If we did this in the wish list, we could also have, we could add the filter here. Maybe we just change it and we say we want to see the Dream Studio, and then everything with Dream Studio checked off, we can see the cost of our Dream Studio. So it's just, there's so many things that you can do in here and just have everything in one place. Okay, the other thing you could do is, let's say you have some old stuff in here. So for example, if I add a new thing, which is my Yeti microphone, and this would be, we could put this under hardware. Oh, it just moved because it's sorted. So let's say I actually own this, but I just bought the new one. Maybe I want to add a new category called to sell. And this is a little checklist of things that I have in the house, but we're going to take that off Dream Studio. The reason that that had Dream Studio checked off, by the way, was that I added it to a list that was filtered where it said Dream Studio. So when you add something to a filtered list, because I added it to my wish list, it took on that Dream Studio. So I had to make sure to take that off. So if we go to our full list here, actually, let's unfilter this. Let's just delete that. Now this is my full list. If I go to this Yeti microphone, I can see it's to sell. So maybe you could start a little list of to sell. This would be a good way for you to track. And maybe we just have a quick list view, which is nice and clean. And you would take this here and you would filter it and add the filter to say where to sell is checked off. So you could see everything on your list that you want to sell. Maybe you want to have a little thing here called sale price. And we can have this as what you plan to sell it. So we're going to pick number, and you can format the number. Actually, let's put a number in here. So maybe I'm going to sell this for $50. Oops. Do one thing at a time. $50, and I'm going to format this number. And we're going to say this is also Canadian dollars. So now we have a price here, and we can actually have this showing. So we could say here that I could have for properties, what do I want to show? I want to say, what's the sale price here? I could also have the type turned on so I could see what category it's in. So you can really start to customize these, and you can get creative. So think about all the other things that you could do with classifying your information, looking at what you have right now. Does something need to be repaired, or maybe you need to change something? But there's so many things that you can do with this. And just want to make sure, is there anything else that I wanted to? Okay, I think those are all of the ways that I wanted to show you to customize. So really what I would like to encourage you to do, either make your own or grab the free template, start adding in what you already own, what you might have on your dream list, and then start thinking about, how do I want to see my information? So then you can create new views, you can create new filters, you can sort things the way you like, create multiple lists, and really start to customize this. Essentially, what you are doing is optimizing your gear list and doing it in a simple way. And all of this can be done with a free Notion account so that you can start to create virtual presentations that are more professional and engaging.